welcome. My name is Gene, and today we're just going to do a pretty floor-based sequence that helps connect the body more to the rooting of a space, the presence of mind of being a little lower to the ground, more central to the earth. So, to start that idea, find your way to a seat of your choosing. Sit bones pressed against the earth, crown of the head lifted up to the sun. We're moving with a cue and expression today known as root to rise. As the root of the body, or the root of what touches the ground, is present, the rest of your body finds a place to plant, stacking the pieces together, almost like a tower reaching upward to the blue sky above. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Great time to do any personal isometric movements that maybe your body wants to get a little deeper into. Neck circles are always nice. Maybe you want to do some shoulder circles just to get a little more into your heart space. Any of those movements are valid, or whatever else feels good to ground you into your space. And all the while observing where the body is carrying any residual sensations from days past. Perhaps the personal movements you're making are connecting you to places a little bit more prevalently, a little more mindfully. But this can be a fitting place to start thinking about an intention, that heartfelt idea, emotion, string of words, or even a more meditative string like a mantra that you want to give to yourself. Even the expression that we're moving with today, root to rise, can be a very apt string of words to connect to. What does root to rise mean to you? Is it creating trust in the space that you take up? Is it knowing that wherever you plant yourself, you are firmly placed on the ground with your 2 feet? Or even other places. Maybe you're on hands and knees. Maybe your entire spine is on the ground. It's just creating that language of trust so that when you feel rooted in a place, the rest of the body is confident and comfortable in moving in ways that serve you. So getting a little more into the neck before we take some movements, you're just going to take an inhale, bring the palms of your hands to the back of your head, fingertips against the skull, and then very gently applying pressure on your skull, you're going to exhale, push the head down a little bit. Seeking out a stretch along the back of your neck as you breathe, just taking 3 breaths here. And all the while your sit bones are still firmly placed on the mat, remembering that you are rooted. One more breath. So taking that next inhale, the hands released from the neck, coming down to your chin, your face comes up. And then 2 fingers just below the jawline, exhale, press them into your chin. Lifting your neck up, getting that stretch now along the front of your throat. Breathe. Nice job. Last breath here. As the next inhale arrives, guide your neck back to center, releasing your fingers from the jawline. On an exhale, you've got your right hand framing your face against the left side of your cheek. Right palm now applies some pressure, just pressing your neck down to the right. Now you're looking for a side stretch along the left side of your neck region as you breathe. Just taking a few moments here. Nice. One more breath. And then as you inhale, releasing the face from the side of your cheek. Now you're exhaling. Left hand now frames the skull. Left palm on the right side of your face. Anatomy's fun like that. You're now pressing that right side of your cheek against your left bicep, over by your left shoulder. Breathe for 5 here. And again, all the while, you still have your sit bones firmly placed on the mat. It's that grounding that's happening alongside the stretching of your neck that's helping to create a pattern for yourself here. A trusted system that your body can learn from and move from. Last breath. Good work. So taking an inhale, release the left side of the palm from your right cheek. Neck comes to center. And then taking your wrists, you're going to exhale, point your fingertips toward the body as you press the palms of the hands down to the earth, basically showing the underside of your arms toward the screen. Just taking a few breaths, warming up the wrists a little bit. As always, welcome to press the wrist down further. Maybe you even come up to the finger arches. Just getting a nice little stretch. Breathe. Just about moved through the places in the body that we want a little warmer for your seated flow today. So taking just another 2 breaths here. Repeat that string of words, root to rise, a couple times if you'd like. Again, what does that phrase mean to you? Starting from the bottom and working the way up. It follows very similar tracks to any kind of vocation or even moving through any kind of life experience. The bottom being the beginning, and then working the journey upward. But on an inhale, very gently release the wrists off the ground, shake them out. Maybe a couple of really quick circles here. Good. And then starting to work into the side body a little bit, you're going to take an inhale, brush your right palm to the ground, stacking the joints, and then exhale, sending your legs out to your left side, basically stacking them one on top of the other, just a side seal here. Take a breath. All the while pressing that right side of the body a little bit more toward the ground. One more breath. Now from here, take an inhale. You're going to drop that right ear down to your right shoulder. And then pressing into your right palm, lifting yourself off the ground, Vasisthasana, side plank variation. That right leg can scoot out from underneath, sending the foot behind you as you breathe. Left palm reaching up to the sky. Maybe your drishti, your point of focus, follows the left hand. Breathe. Good job. Really pressing into the knife's edge of your left foot, giving yourself that groundedness even in this really expressive opening shape. One more breath. Now taking an inhale, that left palm is going to plant down as you tuck the left knee underneath your hips. And then exhale, just walking the hands out so that they're under the shoulders, finding a tabletop. Taking some cat-cows here. Breathe in, drop your abdomen, raise the crown and tailbone upward. And then exhale, press into the earth with your palms, hollowing out the ribs. Chin and tailbone say hello. 2 more cat-cows here. Breathe in. And breathe out. 1 more. Nice. Now from here, take an inhale. You're going to walk the hands back to the knees, Vajrasana, Thunderbolt pose. And then as you exhale, just sitting back on your ankles for 3 breaths. Now it's the front of your feet, the front of your legs that are your anchor to the earth, but still an anchor all the same. Rooting down as your rear presses against the ankles. Last breath. Now taking another inhale, you're going to walk the hands back on your mat, coming out to a tabletop. And then exhale, keeping your knees under your hips. You're going to walk the palms out as the chest peels down to the ground, Anahatasana, melting heart. Root your heart toward the earth. Elbows can come meet the mat as they bend, hands over your head. The hands gather in Anjali Mudra over your forehead in that prayer shape. Taking a few breaths here. Halfway point, option to bring your chin down to the mat now. Give yourself a stretch through your Vishuddha chakra, your throat. 4 breaths here. Good job. So, if you took your chin to the mat, inhale, bring your forehead back down to the earth. And if you bent your elbows for prayer, exhale, bring the palms of the hands back down to the mat. From here, take that breath in, walk the hands back into the body, another tabletop. And then exhale, you're sitting back on that right hip just so that you have your left legs extended out. From here, inhale, sit on the sit bones, sweep the feet now to your right side, and then exhale, left palm of the hand is on the ground, stacked underneath your shoulder, side seal, breathe. Just taking those same couple shapes from the other side. So that's your small flow, a few asanas connecting you with different places on the ground. Come back to root to rise. Your wrist is the root. Your left hip is the root. Even that outer part of your left leg is rooted on the mat. Breathe. Last breath here. So prepping for your side plank variation, inhale. You're going to bring that left ear closer to your left shoulder. And then exhale, pressing into your left wrist. Send that left foot behind you. Left knee on the ground. Right arm reaches up to the sky, Vasisthasana side plank. This is your home for a few breaths. And again, option to look up at that right arm reaching to the sky. Now it's fewer places, the knife's edge of your right foot. You've got your left knee and left wrist now as your anchor points. Once more, root to rise. Everything anchors, everything then lengthens. Last breath here. Good job. So taking an inhale, now you're bringing that right palm of the hand down to the ground, tucking the right knee in tabletop. And then exhale, this time walk your hands out past the top of your mat, taking your abdomen with you, tucking the elbows in against the body. From here, take an inhale, peeling your chest off the ground, Bhujangasana Cobra Pose, all the while pressing into the front of your hips, tops of your feet against the earth. Five breaths here. Halfway there, good job. And for some more activity, you're always welcome to tuck the elbows, press them in a little tighter. Palms of the hands underneath your shoulders. And again, fronts of the hips really pressing into the earth for that compression sensation. Nice. So take an inhale, observe your body, create that kinetic relationship. How are you feeling here? And then palms of the hands on the mat. Exhale as you widen your knees to those opposite sides. Send your hips back toward the ankles. Wide-legged child's pose, downward facing hero. It has a couple different names, but whichever one is most at home for you. Just taking a few breaths here. Great work. 3 more breaths to go. All the while, the hips sink back just a little further toward your ankles, allowing gravity to help you find your asana today. And same thing, now you're rooting through the fronts of the legs, through the palms of the hands, whether they're gathered together or whether they're extended out in front, both on the mat. So taking your next inhale, the hands are now going to walk back in toward the body, coming to this low kneel. And then if, like me, you've kind of scooted off the mat a little bit, exhale, just walk the hands out, coming to that tabletop again. One more asana here. You're going to inhale, curl all 10 toes on the ground. And then exhale, walking the hands back to the knees until you're sitting on your toes for a good old toe stretch. So, different places contacting the mat. The tips of your feet. Breathe into the soles, your plantar fascia. Now you're always welcome to take a block with you and bring it between your rear and the backs of your calves. That might give you something of a base or something of a barrier. something that can make this feel a little more comfortable for you. After all, thinking about all the times you put your feet in uncomfortable shoes or even having to move your feet in surprising ways. Toe stretch can certainly be a very polarizing place for the body, but still important to ground down into. Last 4 breaths. Nice work. So taking your inhale, the palms of the hands return to the ground, removing the block underneath if you brought it with you. And then once you've walked out to your tabletop, exhale to uncurl your feet, 1 foot at a time. And then once you feel the feet on the mat, tap the tops of them just to give some relief to your ankles. They might thank you. Soles of the feet might thank you also. So, from here, just taking another inhale through the nose, and then walking the hands out to the top of your mat. Take your abdomen with you. Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows tucked in. Vinyasa flow. Inhale, chest peels off the mat, just raising your palms from the ground. And then toes curled. Exhale as you raise your hips up, soles of the feet reach down to the mat. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now, take a couple breaths here, reaching the soles to the earth. Maybe you walk the feet in a step or two if you'd like more contact. Breathe. You're just about at the end of your practice today, but if you would like to give a little bit more heat for your body, you're welcome to take a couple of vinyasa flows. We'll do that together if you'd like. So taking an inhale, the hands walk out to a plank position. Always welcome to drop the knees if you'd like. And then elbows tucked in as you exhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, abs to the earth. Inhale, peel your chest up, toes curled on the mat, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then as you exhale, press into the palms, raise your hips up, soles of the feet reach down, downward dog. Second vinyasa for you. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, abs engage, chaturanga to the earth. And then inhale, reaching your chest up, peeled off the ground, upward dog. And then toes curled on the mat. One more time, exhale, raise the hips up. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Always the option to drop the knees down, take a child's pose, even drink some water too if you'd like. You've moved through the majority of your practice, all of which centers around rooting to the earth, and from those rooted places, allowing yourself the space to rise and reach. So in that way, root to rise. What are you reaching toward? What are you using your solid ground to extend your influence out to extend your will, to extend your purpose? That's the core of root to rise. And maybe that's something to take with you for another 5 more breaths. we start the journey to your final asana for your practice, your savasana today. So whether you've been in downward facing dog or you took a tabletop variation, we will all converge at that tabletop point. And then choosing a hip, left or right, totally yogi's choice, sit back on that hip. The legs find their way to the center of your mat. Now, you have options. You can take a seated savasana today if this feels at home for you. If you would like more of your body to be connected to the earth, you can choose a side for the legs to swing out toward. And then all the while, make your way down. Always welcome to bring props with you, whether a blanket or blocks. But finding your way down to the earth, allow your body that moment to introduce yourself to whatever shape you've chosen. If you're on your spine, or even if you're on a seated savasana, maybe the palms of your hands find the earth, to really enrich yourself in that grounding mindset. However much of yourself is against the mat or against the floor, use that as your springboard, your platform, so that once you're rooted down, your awareness can then rise upward, much like the exhales that you give yourself with your breathing. So as ever, do remember your breath and your heartbeat. They are steadfast and faithful in helping you to connect with the way your body moves, the way your body works, knowing that today's workings and weavings might be different than what you experience tomorrow. But it's all about honoring yourself in the grounded present, this current moment. And as ever, leave behind any tension, any stiffness you might have felt today. Even in a few asanas like what you moved through just now, the body can store tension in various ways and can sometimes evoke a sense of less thanness. Set it aside. It need not follow you, especially if it doesn't serve you, to where you're going now. So enjoy your savasana, y'all. Thank you for everything that you do on and off of your mats. And know that I will call you back to the here and now shortly. has come to begin guiding yourself back to this plane. Much like the body, a rooted mindful breath can aid you with this process. What does it feel like to breathe in through the nose, easing the air downward to the lungs? Just really sinking yourself into the flow of air. The body expands to make room for prana, life force energy, until the body can hold no more of it. That's when you breathe out through the nose. The air rises out through the nose, or with that sigh, yawn through the mouth. Root to rise. Finding your way, moment by moment, heartbeat by heartbeat, to the space you've made for yourself today. The arms, the legs, the eyes begin wiggling, flittering open and closed. The wrists and ankles might make some circles here. Even tipping the legs side to side if you're on your spine, or tipping the neck side to side, whether you're in a seat or still on your spine. But as ever, it's your practice, your space. So what movements of your own choosing do you give yourself to honor and strengthen your tether to the corporeal plane? You are always welcome to end your practice in the conjured shape of your Savasana today. The option's always present to meet in a seat of your choosing. But whichever form you take, allow yourself the grace and kindness towards your body as you guide yourself to that final form. The arms, the legs, the eyes adopting a ceiling shape that resonates with your journey today. A grounding practice, a meditation focusing on the nature of root to rise. For as you are anchored to a place, as you allow yourself the planting of a body, of a self, into a space, you then have the means to reach for whatever purpose, whatever goal, almost like you're reaching toward the sun itself, like extended petals, outstretched, ready to receive every bit of wise light that the sun shines down upon you. May you receive that wisdom. May you receive that trust authentically. It has been my humble honor and continual joy to have shared space with you today as you have shared space with me. May you always live this life in your own authentic way, bringing forth your signature shine and radiance to this beautiful planet we share. The luminosity in me cherishes, respects, and will always celebrate the luminous, blooming heart in you. Shanti. Namaste. Thank you so much for making time for yourself today, or any time that you happen to make space. I hope that you enjoy whatever the horizon brings to you. And until next time we roll our mats together and spend time together, namaste.